What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MANIACITV, man. Today, we got the sad story of NBA DDAWG from the Hip Hop Daily YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with the story, I mean, we gonna get into the video, but I think the biggest thing about this story, now DDAWG just got out, but the biggest thing about this story, the circumstances that occurred, right after he got out, which eventually led to this $19.7 million bond. Like, I can't even wrap my mind around that, man. So we ain't doing no more talking. We gonna get right into it, man. The story of DDAWG.
NBA DDAWG is one of NBA YoungBoy's closest homies, but he's also a wild dude who caught his first murder charge at just 14 years old. After he got out of prison, he had the chance to switch up how he moved.
I'll be forgetting how young these boys are.
Charge at just 14 years old. After he got out of prison, he had the chance to switch up how he moved and start making legit money like YoungBoy. But then he crashed out again and got his own friend killed. This is the sad story of NBA DDAWG. DDAWG didn't come up in Baton Rouge like YoungBoy. He grew up in New Orleans, but when Hurricane Katrina destroyed the city back in 2005, his family moved to Baton Rouge. Not much is known about his early life, but he jumped off the porch at a young age, and it seems like his older brother Ben introduced him to the streets. On November 6, 2012, DDAWG, Ben, and their cousin Juan walked up to a dude named Derek's house wearing ski masks and carrying guns. Earlier that day, Ben's girlfriend Tamika drove him to Juan's apartment to pick up an AK-47, a sawed-off shotgun, and a pistol. According to Juan's testimony, he kicked in Derek's door and started letting off shots. Derek's wife and daughter ran out the back door to call 911 when they started shooting, but Derek tragically died later that night after being rushed to a local hospital in Baton Rouge. During all the chaos, DDAWG allegedly shot Juan 4 times on accident, so Ben and DDAWG had to help him limp back to the car. They threw away the evidence in the gas.
He was a youngin' though. What he said, 14? He was a little nigga. That's crazy though. That's crazy. And it's like, and we was talking about this on the Hustle and Motivate podcast, link down below in the description, man. Ace was saying like a lot about like, the drill rappers out in New York, how young they are. Man, when I was 14, like, and I agree with Ace, man, like my mind was the furthest from that. It was the furthest from that, man. Like, the last thing I'm thinking about is kicking the dude door in and just going crazy like that, man. That's crazy.
So Ben and D.
But it's weird because it's like, man, I grew up in the projects. I could have easily been like that though. I could have easily been that though.
DDAWG had to help him limp back to the car. They threw away the evidence in the gas station dumpster. Then Tamika drove him to the hospital so Juan wouldn't bleed out. The cops questioned Juan at the hospital, but he told them he was chilling with his cousins when he got shot in the drive-by. But after the whole crew got arrested for the hit, Juan flipped and agreed to testify so he could plead guilty to manslaughter instead of murder. Even if Juan stayed solid, the prosecution probably would have still convicted everyone. All kinds of evidence was found on scene. Plus, their DNA was all over the mask and the trash. DDAWG's brother Ben pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder, but a jury convicted him and he was sentenced to life without parole.
Damn.
But the situation wasn't so simple when it was time for DDAWG's trial. According to his mom, DDAWG got hit by a car while he was riding his bike as a kid, and after the accident, she says he started having behavior problems. A juvenile court judge ruled that DDAWG had the mind of a 10-year-old kid and that he shouldn't be tried as an adult, but the decision ended up getting reversed. An appeals court said that DDAWG's prosecutors found clear and convincing evidence that there is no substantial opportunity for him to be rehabilitated. So DDAWG was tried as an adult and sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Now, this is where it get complicated. Now, I don't condone anything of what they did because that's just grimy. But it's like a lot of the times, man, I feel like the system be overlooking a lot of things, especially with our people. They throw away the whole thought of like, oh, it's a mental thing or it's this, it's that. They just look at it like, oh, you just an animal. And I ain't saying that like, that bro was just, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't saying that, but I mean like, I feel like they ain't even considering like, okay, maybe he just not, like he really not right. You know what I mean? To comprehend what's really going on, but we just gonna lock him up anyway. We not gonna give him any resources to better himself. We just gonna lock him up. He's 15, we just gonna lock him up. I feel like the justice system kind of low-key bogus in that. But like I said, I don't condone like, somebody lost their life in this whole thing, man. You know what I mean?
Be rehabilitated. So DDAWG was tried as an adult and sentenced to 10 years in prison. An attorney for the parish said, to adequately protect the public, He needs to be tried as an adult. It's highly unusual to take this action, but under the circumstances, I think I'd be remiss in not taking him over to state court to seek an adequate resolution. The situation was tragic, because if he got sent to juvie instead, DDAWG would have been treated by a child psychiatrist and could have gotten better. But since the prosecutor...
But in 15, you would think he would have been sent to juvie, but I understand, like, you know, it's the circumstances of what went down, what happened. But yeah, if he got sent to juvie, he would have had them resources.
DDAWG would have been treated by a child psychiatrist and could have gotten better. But since the prosecutors pressed the court to try him as an adult, he got thrown into prison and was surrounded by hardcore criminals.
That's gonna make him
Getting
worse.
locked up didn't help DDAWG calm down at all. He got hit with more charges while inside for battery on an officer and resisting with force or violence. According to someone on Reddit, they was locked up with DDAWG and saw him fighting guards while he was butt naked and getting pepper sprayed. DDAWG's wild behavior made him fit right in with the NBA crew though. Youngboy ain't had no issues in the streets for a minute since he'd been fighting Fed cases and focusing on his career. But his come up was crazy and turned Baton Rouge into a war zone. After Youngboy split off from TBG and his old homies, it started a beef that took lives from both sides. G Money was allegedly killed by NBA Young Pap, Youngboy's cousin Boozilla and his manager Dump were both murdered, and Youngboy's girlfriend caught a bullet in the shoulder that was meant for him. DDAWG has always been loyal to Youngboy and was really about that action. In a viral clip from a Youngboy show in 2018,
I remember this.
Youngboy points out someone in the crowd.
DDAWG went in the crowd and started throwing
stuff on stage. Then DDAWG hopped straight into the audience and starts throwing hands.
Look,
being ready for whatever might scare the ops, but it also gets the attention of the cops.
And here's the thing though, like, to have somebody like that on your team, man, it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. As far as the image of NBA, man, these some street dudes, man. These ain't no suburban raised niggas that got a deal. Like, these some niggas really from the trenches, man. So to have somebody on a team that's ready to go to let, hey, they gonna put everybody in their place, that's a good thing. But then again, man, like he said, it's gonna get a lot of unwanted attention on you.
Being ready for whatever might scare the ops, but it also gets the attention of the cops. And back in September, DDAWG was hit with another attempted murder charge for a shooting that allegedly went down in 2018. He was held on a $300,000 bond and posted it a couple days after getting booked, but the trouble wasn't over yet. After he posted bond, DDAWG got pranked by a comedian on the street and the situation almost went left. He was walking down the street with his homie when a comedian came up to him and said, "What up, real street nigga?" DDAWG and the other dude just looked confused. And then the comedian said, I'm the original chain snatcher. DDAWG and his homie just kept walking and tried to ignore him, but the comedian kept following them. That's when DDAWG turned around and told him, "You gonna get your ass painted." Hey, no, much love. Yeah, you gonna get stuck. Luckily, the comedian realized he picked the wrong dude to prank and got out of there. I feel like what DDAWG would have done.
I don't know, man. I feel like, you know, when it comes down to these pranks, I don't know if he knew that was DDAWG though, but I feel like a lot of that low-key be like a setup to these boys, man. I understand, you know, it's for comedy purposes, but be careful with who you really do it with. Like, if you knew it was him and you knew he out here, you know, that he ain't 100% right, like he would have really, he look like what, they in like Cali or Florida or something, he probably would have crashed out right there on camera. I don't think he would have cared. So it's like, man, when they do these little pranks and stuff on people, man, be careful with this, man. Because I guarantee bro could have really crashed out right there, man.
He picked the wrong dude to prank and got out of there, because there's no telling what DDAWG would have done. Then, in the same month he posted bond for the 2018 attempted murder case, DDAWG got into a high-speed chase with the cops and ended up crashing and killing his homie in the passenger seat. It's not clear why the cops were even after him this time, but they ended up finding a ski mask and weapons in the whip. DDAWG got hit with a ton of new charges, including first-degree vehicular manslaughter, resisting an officer, and possession of a firearm.
It's over.
Now his bond is set at $19.7 million. Bonding out on $300K is one thing if your homie's one of the biggest rappers in the game. But with a bond that's almost 20 mil, he'll probably be sitting in jail till his trial starts.
It's like, just think about this, man. I've never seen somebody bond that much. Best believe YB got money. I ain't gonna pocket watch. I don't know how much YB got in the account, man, but I don't care how rich you are, man. 19 mil, I mean, you know, you pay the 10% or whatever, but that's millions of dollars still. That's millions of dollars still. That'll hurt anybody, man. But it's like, you know, and I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be 100%. I'm gonna be real as meal with you, man. It's like I think the system failed him. I feel like he just them throwing him in prison at 15 years old. You in that environment surrounded by lifers, surrounded by people that ain't got nothing to lose. You gotta stand on all 10. You can't show them that you vulnerable, so you gon' you know what I mean? You gonna come out a different person. Probably worse mentally. You gonna come out worse mentally. And it's like they expect you to get put back into society without getting any help, any resources. They throw you in a cage. They gonna treat you like an animal. You gonna turn into one. You gonna turn into one. You gonna get out. You ain't gonna be citizen of the year. Let's look at it for what it is. You not. You gonna be messed up. You gonna be ready to really crash out on somebody. So it's, man, I don't know, man. That is wild though. They making sure he ain't getting out. That's a lot of money, man.
The cops in Baton Rouge ain't happy that D-Dawg was let out on bond and ended up killing someone just a few days later. The police chief said, "We've dealt with him before, the same individuals. That is what I hear from our officers. We arrest them and have to deal with them again. Shooting incidents, murders, what's right about that?" Baton Rouge is a wild city, and apparently, D-Dawg's family has caused a lot of chaos. Back in January, D-Dawg's 35-year-old brother Cleveland turned himself in for murdering a 14-year-old kid named Dion Williams. Cleveland allegedly shot Dion multiple times with an AK-47 in a grocery store parking lot.
Why? Hold on, what?
Supposedly, it was because Dion was bullying one of Cleveland's family members. Cleveland admitted to the shooting, but he told the police Dion had a gun too. But when cops checked the surveillance footage, they saw Dion was unarmed, and Cleveland also shot at 3 bystanders before handing the AK to his homie and left the scene.
Dog.
Dion was a 7th grader and had just made the basketball team at his school. His mother Miranda said, "I'm going to really miss that I'm not going to be able to call him anymore. Me being a parent of a 14-year-old, getting calls saying it's your son being shot down, it really hurts. It hurts so bad." Dion was with his homie, Sean George II, when he was killed. And just a couple hours later, someone shot and killed Sean too. The police think the shootings are connected, but D-Dawg's brother has only been charged with Dion's murder. Cleveland already admitted to shooting Dion, and now that the cops know he wasn't armed, the situation isn't looking good for him.
Bro, this is wild. Like, I only really knew about the car accident. I didn't know that all this was going on down there. That's crazy.
Cleveland probably won't be coming home, but D-Dawg might get out sooner than most people thought. NBA Ben 10 told Futures TV,
"Finna do some shit, we finna be home. We finna violate yourself to be home, simple."
It's not clear what exactly Ben 10 means, but rumors are flying that the guns and masks belong to D-Dawg's homie who died in the crash. But even if D-Dawg gets the weapons charge taken off his case, he's still facing first-degree vehicular manslaughter. Plus, with the attempted murder charge hanging over his head, it's not looking like D-Dawg will be free anytime soon. It's possible that if D-Dawg got the help he needed back in the day, all of this could have been avoided. He was only 14 when he caught his first case, and he probably would have never been there if it wasn't for his older brother and cousin. And if he really had the mental capacity of a 10-year-old at the time, getting professional help could have changed D-Dawg's whole life. But instead of getting treatment, D-Dawg got locked up and jumped even deeper into the streets. Now, someone else is dead, and D-Dawg might be facing life behind bars. RIP to everyone in this video who lost their life.
For sure. That's crazy, man. A lot of this story I didn't know. Like, I haven't been familiar with D-Dawg other than the Free D-Dawg song. I haven't really, looked in depth to him like that. But man, this is a crazy story. The sad story of NBA D-Dawg, link down below in the description for y'all to check it out in its entirety with no interruptions. Y'all new to the channel, y'all rock with me, want daily reaction videos, hit that subscribe button for me. To the next video, I'll see y'all then. Thank you for watching MANIACITV. I'm out.